What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about PLTR, Palantir Technologies at the request of crypto investor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We are sitting at about 42 bucks. It is Sunday evening for me. The new stock week has yet to start, so I figured I'd make some of these stock videos on Sunday night, before it was relevant. I know some of these requests are a little dated. I'm sorry it's taken so much time to get to them, but we're getting to them, man. PLTR. That's what we're talking about here, right? Looking like on the daily RSI, you've cooled off quite a ways while maintaining higher lows. That's a really nice look. That's a really nice look in itself. Yes, you've moved down right now. Relatively speaking, this doesn't look so encouraging, but it's about as encouraging as it might have looked at any of these times, and you still moved up afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So, and actually, relatively speaking, where you are on the RSI, you actually found support in this area back here, and that's what sent you up basically on your last move here. You were a little bit lower, sure, on these given days here, but without those that little slip there, you kind of held this area pretty well, and that is right at the area that you're finding support now, right? Going back here as well, you found support in this area on the RSI. It looks to be an area that you found support at least around this area. If you're not at the low, you're very, very near it, and it's definitely, I think, a good time to consider loading up for some more action that's coming your way in a very short amount of time, right? If we're looking at this thing on a weekly RSI look, you were overbought, or you still are overbought, but you've been up in this above 80 area for a little while, pulling back to the overbought zone itself. Finding a bounce here would be really nice. Getting a green week this week would be really nice. If not, maybe you have another week or two and you go down a little bit. Sometimes you do go a little bit below this line and you find support below it. That does happen. Example A right here, example B going back here. Look, both of those times you didn't find support right off of this line, but you actually found, just below it. I think that's fine as well. So being that you are right at it, don't be scared. If we go a little bit lower, it is completely possible. You are sitting pretty high right now, high to low here, all the way up to the 2618 deep extension, right? From the 1618 to the 1272, you basically just went nonstop all the way up there. So coming back, I was going to say coming back to your 2272 would be expected, but you've kind of already done that, right? Again, if you haven't found your low, I could see it being around 40 bucks. You're at 41.92 now, so that's not that far. Maybe at the lowest you could go all the way back down to 36 bucks, but one way or another, if it's not this week or the next week, sometime this month, you're going to start moving up again, right? Moving up, and it all depends on how it looks, right? If this is your low, you're very close to finding it, like you find it this week, okay, maybe you could be at new relative highs by the end of this month, certainly going into the end of this year. If you do continue for the first couple of weeks, to go down this way, then maybe the end of the month you start to come up. You're not quite above these highs, but then going into December, we could look at you going higher. Just it depends. It looks like you like to get these moves down out of the way pretty quickly. And just being where you are in the RSI, I kind of am expecting you to continue. I don't think you're going to stop here. I think if we look at this as a comparison, you didn't persist. If we're looking at the overall move, most of it came in here whenever you first got into the overbought zone. By the time you pulled back for support, you didn't have the same stride in you, but you did continue to move up over time, right? You might not move up as fast as you have over the past couple months, but to close out the year, I would expect you to continue going up higher. And who knows, man, you might even pick up the pace. Just because you didn't last time doesn't mean you don't have to this time. I wonder, there's not really other examples we can think of other than here, I suppose. Fast into it, pulled back, found support. You were slower coming out of it, but still, that's a nice little bit of growth to finish your move back there, right? Low to high. In the course of 1, 2, 3 weeks, you moved up 100%, right? Last time over here from a low to high in the course of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, 50%, still 6 weeks, a month and a half, not even, and you're moving up 50%. That's not bad. Yeah, I think you're in a good spot. If you're moving lower, just depends on where, but I wouldn't think it's too much lower. I personally don't think you break below 40 bucks, and I think the prices at new all-time highs, man, they wait. You're very close. You're very, very close. Really, actually, the fact that you are, that's kind of nice that we're near all-time highs, because whenever you do break out of this, and I would expect that you do break out of this pretty soon, I wouldn't think that you consolidate up here for months, right? Maybe weeks, but that's about it. When you break out of this, you're at new all-time highs. So I think it is considerably, let me get my words right, it is considerably different this time around compared to this time here and this time here. I think that this, if you do find support here, you could expect a little pickup in the pace. You might get that breakout move because you are breaking out to new all-time highs. Where here you were finishing a move, right? Your very first rally, and you might be finishing a move here, don't get me wrong. And then here you just kind of slowly crept up afterwards. I think this breaking your all-time highs could be a very significant move and definitely propel you to like $78, $157. You could be at that price range by the end of the year. You're at $42 now. You could genuinely see this thing, I think, at $78 by the end of the year. It depends on whenever you break the all-time highs. I would expect when you break the all-time highs, you're going to hit this zone very fast. Do you break all-time highs this month? If so, I'd probably expect that you would do that over the next couple weeks. If not, you're probably going to do it in the very beginning of December. And either way, man, I just don't see a scenario where by the end of this year you wouldn't be up here. So looking good, looking really, really good. If you're looking to accumulate, if you're looking to get into it, there's a couple of ways you can go about it, right? As far as buying, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but if I was looking to buy the stock, this is what I would do. First and foremost, I guess we could look at a relative fib, low to high. Deep extension pulled back. I mean, you're right in the golden ratio zone. I think this is a fine area to buy right now. And then if I had any cash, if I didn't, let's say I had 100% of what I wanted to buy and I put 50% in here, 25%, whatever, it might be 80%, whatever. And I had some that I wanted to buy at lower prices. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Even lower prices than that, right? It could go all the way down into the 36s. It's possible. And I think that's always good to have a little bit left over, no matter how small the amount or large. Have a little bit left over to buy some. It's always a good idea. And what's really good about this part is you are kind of in breakout territory. So if your plan to buy lower fails, just do what the breakout traders do and buy at the very first sign of a breakout, right? Have those kind of like a stop loss, but a stop from missing out orders, if you know what I mean. Some places allow you to do that, right? Where you can set a buy order down here, and then if it reaches a certain price, it cancels those buy orders and slams some buy orders in immediately. It's like a stop loss, but more of like a stop of a missed opportunity. I forget what the actual order is. It a stop limit? I think it's called a stop limit. Anyways, a stop loss essentially they are stop limits, but all I'm trying to say is it might be good if you don't get your lower prices, if you're holding out for lower prices. I think it's a perfectly good area to get in now, but if you are holding out for lower prices and it doesn't happen as soon as, and you want a piece of this action, this oncoming move up that could potentially take it like well past where it is now, buying right above like $45.15, I think there's nothing wrong with that, right? There is a class of traders that exists that literally that they're called breakout traders. They buy when you break out, like as soon as you break out, and they catch the exciting parts, right? They're not in it for the boring parts. They're just in it for the exciting parts. Kind of scalp the price action. I don't know. Just some thoughts of what to do if you're looking forward for this. But I definitely think regardless if it's within the next couple weeks or maybe toward the end of this month, I think that we will start heading up. And by the end of this year, you will see this thing at significantly higher prices. Again, the minimum price was $74, I think. $78, I'm sorry. Maximum is $157. You're at 42 now. So, I mean, if it goes lower, these numbers only get bigger. But the minimum would be 84% growth, potentially as much as like a near 4x growth, man, like over a 3.5x. Yeah, by the end of the year, looking good, looking really good. Anybody holding this is going to be excited. So that's all I got to say. If you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.